All right. Time for the hub. Woo! All right, so there's no slides. I know, I know, Megan. Giving her a heart attack. I wanted to actually start with just polling, like, who has not heard of the hub so far? It's totally fine. We have not been good at evangelizing it. That is actually good. Oh no, I don't know how to full screen on Mac. That is not. Control Option F. Huh. There you go. In case you need any more reason why there's no Mac version. Cool. So, for the people that have not seen it before, we have a web page that is hosted under OpenSpace, hub.openspaceproject.com. That is a web page with the intent to share content between users so that we from the development team are no longer involved in those. Because the whole goal with the software is that we shouldn't be the ones developing most of the content. We should be providing all of the tools so that y'all can start developing the content and share between each other. Of course, there's always going to be stuff that we're making, but I mean, at least for a lot of the stuff where we are not necessary to be involved with, like, it's even better if you can make that and share it, because you know a lot better what actually needs to be done in these cases. So the idea with this is that now Megan is logged in here, but if you go there, you log in with a plethora of different login methods, from Google to Facebook to GitHub, and I think X/Twitter is in there as well. I'm not sure if we decided against that or not. But basically, you click up there, log in, and then once you've logged in, you can start uploading things to the hub that show up that other people can then download or import into their OpenSpace version. So we're in the middle of redesigning and /upgrading this hub, but that shouldn't preclude you from uploading things already, because we'll be porting everything that already exists in the hub over to the new one automatically once that is being deployed. So as you can see, there's already a few things that have been added, in this case by Micah, Dylan, Dan from Cal Academy. There's a few things from James should be in here as well. More from Dan. There's James. So a lot of stuff that is really, really useful, that is necessary content to present different things, but that doesn't really be core of the OpenSpace experience. Let's say Capstone, for example. Like, it's a really cool mission, but we don't have a profile for it, so which is why we didn't have it in our system, for example. The Moon Rabbit that we saw earlier in one of the sessions. Right now, the idea with the system is that it's possible to share different assets, different profiles, different web panels that can be loaded into the new user interface. So Micah made one, I think it's in the first page, which is super cool. That allows you to search for different stars and then fly to them, which is a feature that was heavily requested. So now there's a panel that you can download and then use directly within OpenSpace. Configs, so those ones are window configurations. And then right now we still have media, but we're probably going to take that away because that takes a lot of space to store. And we'll be replacing it probably with a couple of other content types as well. So one of the things that we have planned already are what's probably going to be called bundles, but we haven't decided on the name yet. Basically multiple assets, including content, combined into one thing that you can just include as a whole, rather than needing to collect different assets together, for instance. But all of that stuff is still in flux, and we'll let you know. All of the different types, they're vetted by whoever uploaded them with both a license that they release it under, which I believe all of the things that are on the hub right now are under Creative Commons BY, which is great. And also a version that the uploader has claimed to have checked it with. So one of the big differences compared to what is included inside of OpenSpace, their we are claiming that we have checked it with every version, which we try to be better at this time. So there's like some backend stuff that we're doing for that. But here we are not actually checking that stuff is working, at the moment at least. Long term, it's going to be the goal, but I mean, that's going to take a bit longer. Maybe you'll be wondering about why is there an import and a download button. The difference between those two is that the download button will just download a zip file with the contents of that item to your computer. You can put it somewhere, wherever you want it, include it in your profiles, and at that point it's, in case of the asset types, it's just a normal asset that will just be going through. The import is a bit special, that if you have OpenSpace running on your computer when you are visiting this web page, you can just press the import button and the web page will send a command to OpenSpace to download it, place it in the right location, and immediately include it. So it's going to be a lot faster for just quick checks of whether you'll be interested in something or not.
But sometimes it has the issue unzipping the file. So if you did import and you got an error, then just download it. Or maybe it's already even downloaded and just had an issue unzipping.
So if we are trying to upload something, which, I mean, we don't have anything on this computer, but basically you pick a name. Hopefully there's a good description of what the asset is actually showing. And all of the ones that are currently on the hub have really good descriptions because that makes them a lot easier to use. You choose what type you want to upload to the hub in this case. You pick the version, which we haven't updated to the new one yet. Choose which kind of license you want to have with it. It's useful to have an image so that people have some kind of reference to see what they're actually going to get when they download it. And then uploading, either if it's a simple asset, you can just upload an asset. If it's a bit more complicated, then you'll have to zip it up first and then upload the zip file. There, the idea is that if you have a zip file with a specific name, there should be an asset file with the same name in that zip file. So if I upload Statue of Liberty.zip, then there should be a Statue of Liberty.asset in that zip file. Otherwise, the import doesn't work because we're automatically looking for exactly that name and trying to load it. And it's generally a good habit to get into anyway. If you have folders, name an asset file with the same name as the folder, because then people know what's the first thing there which they should look for. And then lastly, some TNCs to basically not do anything bad. All right, so with this yes, please.
Why does it show 6 instead of 10 assets?
That is one of the things that needs to be fixed. Sorry, just for everyone, the correct question was that why does it show 6 instead of 10? Like, why is there this one straggler on each page? That's base 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, what's the meme? Design is my passion. So that would be one of those things that, like, basically having an endless scroller, for instance, and being able to search for, filter things out instead of searching and generating things. Another thing that's on the list already is being able to send links to individual items to people, because that's kind of difficult at the moment as well. Yes, another question. Right.
Should there be something like a report button in case there's something else that's inappropriate?
Yes. Question is, should there be a report button? And yes. The plan is to have a report button, and the plan is to have, did we decide on stars?
Yeah, or
Favoriting things. So if you're logged in, you can favorite items, and then, for example, I can see, like, what are Carter's favorited items? Because probably the things that he favorites are probably things that I like as well, for instance. And then also show per item how many people have favorited it. We're probably going to go the YouTube route and not have a downvote thing, because it's a nice community, I think, so far. Other questions?
I would just add to your comment about the reporting and the flagging, because basically we are hoping to rely on both the fact that people have to log in and upload things that are wind up associated with their name, combined with help from everyone who's using it when it comes to like if content is inappropriate to, you know, have it removed. We are not like adding a pre-moderation where when someone uploads something, we have to go and check it first and approve it before it would show up, because that would just become another roadblock and another thing, and all of your assets would not wind up on the hub because you would just be waiting for us to approve them. So we're taking this opposite route of once you upload it, it's up there, and then it's up to us in the community to flag it and take it back down, rather than trying to rely on our team to pre-screen all the stuff and decide if it's appropriate or not.
Part of that as well is like, even though there is no report button right now, if there is something, just ping us on Slack. Like it takes a couple of minutes to SSH into the machine and just delete something quickly. So we can already do the filtering if someone were to upload something bad now. Yes, Christian.
I'm just wondering if there was like, if we download something and, oh, wait a minute, let me offer this addition to it, or, you know, improvement, or maybe fix a bug or something like that. How do you want to handle that? Do you just upload that as a separate item? Be sent back to the original developer to say, hey, we think based on this, like, how we
I mean, both would be possible. Oh, sorry, repeating the question. Like, what happens if you download an asset and you find something that you want to improve on? How would you want to handle that update or the improvement? I would say, like right now, both would be possible to re-upload it as your own. Since all of it is CC BY, you would give credit to the original person who made it first. But I think if it's something that fundamentally improves it, like it's a pure improvement, then personally, I would think like communicating with the original owner and then have them update it and then give you credit for instance, for the update. Because then, like if it's a pure improvement without any drawbacks, then there's no reason to have both versions online. But that would be a communication thing. Right now, with the current version, we don't have a profile for users yet. With the new one, we're going to have the optional everything, of course, the Slack name and email and institution, so that you would be able to communicate with some people that choose to share that information. Any other questions?
Yeah, and just to add to that, like as a user, if you upload an asset and then you have an update to it, either that you made or that somebody else made and sent to you, you can then edit the asset, and the hub creates a second version of this one. Like within the same card, like you don't, if you edit and update your item that you uploaded, it then replaces it. So you don't have to like say, you know, my custom constellations version 2, and then you have the version 3 and a version 4, and you tell people, you upload it and it maintains the old versions, but the download will always download the newest version for people. So you could, you know, once a year update your thing, and then people, whenever they go to download it, they'll just get the newest version. If they did need the old version because they had an older version of OpenSpace or something, they could get the old version, but the intent is that like when you update the asset, that becomes the like new main item.
So then the other, oh yeah, James.
Yeah, can you go to the sun thing I uploaded? I think it's right there. Or it was on one of them. Maybe the next page. Yeah, so that brings up a question, I guess, like, given the data-driven aspect of OpenSpace, like I felt a little weird uploading that because I just drew it.
Oh,
right?
I mean, to me, this is like a perfect example of why we want the hub. We don't want to put the artistic stuff into the main release of OpenSpace, but we think that's the perfect type of thing to be on.
I totally agree. I just want to, I put artistic in parentheses because I didn't want anyone to think that was, I didn't know how to make it clear that that was not data.
Yeah.
Right.
And I kind of want to keep that safe.
Great.
A unified, like, this is a artistic interpretation or a not 100% database would be a really good tag to have.
So in the new version of the hub that we will be deploying, one of the things is that you'll be able to assign tags to the items such as solar system or 3D model or trail, or we can add one, artistic, or, maybe we come up with a different word or, yeah, exactly. And then you'll be able to click on that tag and see all the items with that tag. Yeah, and then, but I never thought about it. It can also be used to denote some information to them, right? Like, if you see that tag artistic, you know that this wasn't necessarily data-driven or something.
I think the moon rabbit was obvious.
Another shout out that I always want to do, or two actually, was both on the Slack. There is a #hub channel in case someone wants to share if they have uploaded something to the hub with the wider community. And the other one is that we have the #wishlist channel, which has been added fairly recently to basically request new data, new assets, new features. So I would just highly recommend, if someone has a wish list, particularly content-wise, to place it there. That does not mean that someone from the development team is doing it, but I think it's a really useful place for, let's say you have an intern and you need a topic for them to work on. Maybe there's something in the wish list to actually work on it and place it on the hub afterwards. So this is our first step into going towards having some sort of repository of what people are wishing for in OpenSpace that would be benefiting the most people if someone were to do it. Of course, there are some things that we will be doing, but a lot of the stuff, I think, again, we have a growing community of people that are very capable in doing things.
Do you think it's worth mentioning about size?
Don't remember what the size limit
I think it will I think we did 2 gig or 500 meg, either 2 gig or 500 meg.
Yeah, I think it's 500 meg at the moment. There are ways, and we can put information on here, that if you want to share bigger files than that, there are ways for having OpenSpace download bigger files on demand, which is happening constantly when you're loading a new profile. So there is a way to do that as well. And that's basically, that's running on a pretty little server back home in Sweden, and we have limited amount of space before IT comes crawling up my back. So that's why we have one of the limits in place at the moment, but I think 500 meg is probably good enough for everyone at the moment. Any other thoughts, comments, things they would like to see someone address right now in this room?
We'd also be happy to hear if you look at the hub and see anything when it comes to other content hubs that you've used and successes and or challenges you've had with them. If you see us going down a route that other content hubs you've used have this problem, and you guys are just going to create that problem again, let us know. The open source nature of our projects means you can look at what we're doing, and we're 1,000 million jillion % open to your feedback. So please let us know overall conceptually if where you think the hub will work for you or not, for sure.
One of the things that already came up in one of the bike racks was to have an in progress tag of things that are not finished yet, but you still want to share with someone. So that's a really good idea. Part of the same comment was also whether it's possible to spin off your own version of it. And everything we do is open source, so the code for the hub is on GitHub as well. If you really want to and you don't like our size limit, you can just make your own. Yes, Carter.
So with Mars Ingenuity that we had that started early, that was from Sketchfab, but it was. Thank you. So earlier we saw from Skylar that we had included the Mars Ingenuity construction that had been done, data visualized, the photogrammetry of the surface from the overflight that was on Sketchfab. I ended up meeting the guy who made it at AGU. He had his poster next to us, strangely enough. But it was just that it's open on Sketchfab, but it's been made OpenSpace ready by Skylar and her team. So I was just wondering something like that and how that would be welcome or not, being something gathered from Sketchfab, so from a third party.
I would have to defer to whatever the license of the thing was on Sketchfab, because that's basically determining what we can do with it. Basically, when you're uploading it, you're somewhere saying that you're responsible for the content, because we don't want lawyers crawling up our back. So basically, if it's freely available on Sketchfab and it is under CC BY or CC BY NC or something, some version of it, then personally I would just, if you're fine with it, just duplicate that license, and then if it's a share-alike license, of course, and then have it under that, maybe giving a link in the description to the original version, for instance. But it would really depend on what the license of that specific object is.
At number 3 right there. This is, again, it kind of similar to the, is the content appropriate or not? Is this, do you have permission to upload? We are not actually gonna check all of the files and say, ooh, this person uploaded this thing. Do they have the license and do they have permission from the creator of that file? How could we possibly ever do that? So it is kind of up to you to make sure that the thing you're uploading, you have the actual rights and permission to share that. So don't like go steal a 3D model from somewhere and upload it to our hub when the guy is trying to charge $25 for that model on his website or something, you know, and there's no way for us to know or to check that. So, you know, it's, the good thing is with NASA data, it's all free. But if you are getting data from another source and planning on uploading it to the hub, it is important to know that you have that permission to read, distribute, and share that data.
Any other thoughts, comments, questions, remarks?
The other thing we thought that would be beneficial to discuss in this group was if you had any plans for what you're developing, customizing in OpenSpace that would be useful to share with the community, so then we're not duplicating efforts. So if anyone has projects that are ongoing or is searching for some content that they haven't been able to find, the people in this room that develop that type of content could be in this very room. James, you're not working on anything you want to share? Oh, Christina.
Hello. So the folks who were over on this side in the last session saw this in my talk, but I want to make a concerted effort to get data together for the International Polar Year. So really anything in the Earth system that that might fit into that, I'm interested in making that part of the whole thing. Which is not so much like a specific asset as it is, you know, I'd like to get a group together with the goal of visualizing that stuff. So if you have anything with ice sheets or forestry or ships or research platforms of any kind, I'm very interested in getting all of that kind of integrated. Now I am holding a microphone. James, you got anything you're working on?
Something we're not working on right now because we're delaying a little bit, but we are going to do an exoplanet show at some point. So having artistic layers for exoplanets would be a great use of this, I think.
I was working on this.
And I'll add that I'm planning to add the stuff that you heard Jackie talking about, the Milky Way 3D, those dust maps that I was showing, and the other data files that we showed yesterday. I have permission from the scientists to add and share all of that data, but one of the things that has been stopping me so far is the like maybe like a guide and description on how to use the data. You know, one of the things that for something like a geologic map of the moon, or even the Parker Solar Probe, maybe it's easier to understand, and you know, you can, oh, Parker Solar Probe model and trail. Okay, I'm going to download that and show it. It's pretty straightforward. But if I'm like putting up a dust map or a collection of clusters of young stars or something, there probably needs to be some kind of explanation or program guide with that stuff, because otherwise you're just going to get a bunch of questions you're not going to be able to answer or something. So I don't know, I just thought I'd mention that and see if anyone had thoughts, or say, or maybe they say, no, give it to me, I want it, I don't care about the guide. I don't know, so.
Yeah, I had just a question a bit of left field, but what about gravity waves and also baryonic acoustic oscillation? Is there any work in that area?
I've yet to hear of anyone doing that, but I've watched a couple of YouTube videos about it.
Christian. Just briefly on what just Micah said, I forgot that one of the other features, or one of the other content types that we were going to add to the hub is being able to share show composer shows as well, just to get the juices flowing for things that are like profiles that we already have. There could be potentially many show composer shows that could be shared, which is a completely different type of content creation, which is nevertheless like as important or even more important than the other things.
Okay, I was asking earlier about rings around other planets, and right now they're done as image files, but is it possible to also do those as point clouds, assets, and maybe create like particulate rings? And speaking of point clouds, is anyone working on or know of an asset that would render out the Oort cloud? Like, I would love to see the data used in that film. Obviously, it would be a poor man's version of it for necessarily, but it would be wonderful to render an Oort cloud as opposed to the Oort sphere.
Yeah, I am working on that. A very specific file from the space show. I just haven't really had the time to get it right yet, but I plan to put that very particular file, point cloud version of the Oort cloud, from the data that they used in the space show that they generated the simulation. So I have the file from the guy, I have a Jupyter notebook showing it. If someone wants to maybe team up with me, they can let me know. Maybe we could team up. I'm working on it, but I am working on that exact item in particular, in specific.
And the other one, the rings, we have a guy who's doing some rendering work on the rings composition as well. So UniView for a very long time had the ability to fly into the rings, and we basically want to we're recording, to creatively be inspired by what UniView was doing to do a very similar thing.
Hello.
You're not the only one that can do that.
No,
So you wouldn't be, you're not copying it.
Hello. I'm an old head that has used UniView in the past, and there were some really cool volumetric models, like Saturn's rings, for example, or pulsars that's used to spin with magnetic fields around them. Just wondering if anything could be cooking in that area.
Someone wants to make that?
Micah, didn't you mention the Crab Nebula?
Yeah, so basically I have yet to look into, but I plan to, the stuff that you saw in the dust map, and when I had the higher resolution version of the dust map, that was point cloud data, but it almost looked volumetric. And so I am planning on creating the Crab Nebula with a bunch of data I have that will work the same exact way. But I am also planning on and just have not had the time since May, when I put in all that data, on like looking at the scripts I used to create the point cloud version of that data and have it create volumetric versions from our volumetric renderer. I haven't done that yet, but I do plan to do that and see how it works. The one thing I would say is that, how do I put this? Like the Crab Nebula that I put in from the data I have from this paper, even if I get it working with the volumetric, still might not look as cool, quote unquote, as some of these other volumetric models that are from some, that are embedded in some other systems that I've seen that I'm not totally sure how data-driven the model is.
So I got an event in September on gravitational lensing. Anybody by chance made an asset for that? If not, maybe that's something I can try to tackle.
It would be possible to build on James's gravitational field potential visualization to do something like that, to creatively play with the field lines.
Are you doing it? Are you doing it in a dome or on a flat screen?
No, this is at Astro on Tap, so flat screen.
Could he potentially use the black hole project build or something for a flat screen?
I mean, surprised we had master students working on a black hole rendering. That is in a branch. It's not in the master, but it's theoretically available if you want to compile it. But yeah, that would work.
I'll talk to you later about that. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Back to the ring particles in Saturn. I think the way Uniview did it, they kind of cheated in a very clever way. They created a target in the rings, and then you descend to that target point, and in that little clump, there's ring particles in that little localized region, and then it gives you the illusion that you're flying through this immense ring system.
Yeah, it's something very similar that we have talked about as well, like doing procedurally generated particles that are roughly correct for the current ring area that you're in. Yeah.
And Ken, was that continuous or was it, did it have any wing simulation?
I don't recall. It looked kind of random to me. I don't think it had any, it was much more than that.
It's just that when we made Worlds Beyond Earth, we had simulation data, so that it'd be nice to have that type of
I think a lot of this, right, it's more of a comment than a question, but I know like what you're trying to do, you're trying to present data as simulation versus, okay, here's what data looks like, right? Stick something in there. So that's great. That's what I think makes OpenSpace unique and all the others. Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of and we've kind of crossed that bridge a bit already, since the Milky Way volume is a simulation. That's not a real picture. So, I mean, I know. Yeah. I mean, as long as it's physically inspired and as accurate as we can make it.
Is there anything that already exists or that anyone is working on that can show the dynamics on the surface of a star over time? Yeah, like that you could estimate is probably happening, because obviously you can't show what's going to happen or what's happening right now, but maybe things that have happened in the past or what generally is happening on a given day.
Well, if you count our sun, then yes. But maybe, I don't know of ones for other stars.
Okay, so the sun is the one right now that would have those kinds of stuff, but not necessarily other stars in our...
It doesn't have it right now, but we had, I'm just trying to find it when we did that. This one, I think, Matthias and Jonathan, they wrote a master thesis trying to get the SDO and SOHO images in real time. It never made it into the master branch of OpenSpace, so it's not really available. but we could make that available, or could work on it if a lot of people start asking for it.
Yeah, that's,
Same thing. I mean, it's not available at the moment. There's some data available from Predictive Science Inc. It's a company out of California. They've been doing some eclipse predictions and some volumetric data that also we've had some initial work with, but hasn't been merged into the master. There's quite a lot of those.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments on the hub or content creation, content sharing?
I got one question.
Because with the shadowing work that we are working with for the Once Upon the Moon production, I asked Joachim this, so I'd like to just put you on the spot, Alex, and ask just about self-terrain shadowing, so that we would get accurate terminator for Moon and other surfaces.
I mean, it's already on the list of things to work on. That list is really long.
I was just wondering about, like, we have self-shadowing in models, but it's a different type of model structure insofar as displacement map.
Yeah.
So
I mean, one of the problems, if we're far enough away, I don't think it's necessarily an issue. But when you're getting closer to the planetary surfaces, you have sometimes baked-in shadows into the images already. So I was playing around with Ben about that. Like, if we start overlaying shadows on top of that, we start ending up with multiple shadows, which is kind of.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said the caveat is using through elevation.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something we could look into with the same algorithm when we start implementing that.
It's a level of detail.
Yeah.
It's not that accurate normal.
It
No,
should.
it says shading.
Yeah, it doesn't do shadowing. It's just the accurate normals does when you move, when you have a piece of the terrain that is pointing away from the sun. Then it's getting darker. It doesn't.
It's not a real cast.
No.
So I'm curious if you wanted to, let's say, fly to a specific point in intergalactic space, let's say M87, which is the center of the Virgo cluster. Is there an easy way to do that? Or other points? Because I mean, that's one of the things that I know I tried searching for it on the, searching in a variety of places and didn't find it, either Virgo cluster or M87 or things like that.
So in order to fly to different places, there is a file in the No. Where's the bookmarks?
Now it's in the user, so
Then I can't show it.
And sorry, Sean, I saw your email about that, and I just didn't get back because I was working on the user meeting.
So you can place a file in the user folder called local bookmarks, where you can specify either locations on Earth based on longitude, latitude, where it will automatically create a scene graph node for every entry in that file. Alternatively, if you don't do a planet, you can give it X, Y, Z coordinates where it will place a new item. So for example, what you can do is look up the center of the Virgo cluster. It's in meters, so you have to convert that number into however many meters in X, Y, and Z it is, and then it will add a new scene graph node at that location, which you can then target with the camera to fly to. So that's actually exactly what Micah's panel over here does, the star search panel, except with a nice looking user interface. And that could be enhanced, for example, to search for the different Messier objects as well.
Yeah, so I'll have to make like a galaxy search panel. But the local bookmarks file, it's a CSV file you could edit with Excel. Alex mentioned you have to like look up the coordinates yourself, but you could also get them sometimes from our spec files. So you can like copy and paste them out sometimes instead of calculating them.
coming to you. It is really fun to watch Alex struggle with this Mac, right?
So this,
I don't care.
so this is just something, I guess, I'm going to just throw this out there if anybody else might be interested. The last hackathon we did here at the museum, we had a challenge we called it the hidden face of Venus. And we were trying to find a way to adapt the AIM stereo pipeline with the latest SAR data to create digital terrain maps. So, because we don't really have a good, we could have a really, really great surface map of Venus. So this is on GitHub. There's a challenge wiki under github.com/amnh/hack the solar system. So if anybody wants to put their brain to it, we've got a lot of interesting descriptions and data resources linked on there.
Have you heard from the guy in Hawaii yet? Getting to see, but
I have not. Everything since the pandemic is a memory. This was back in 2019 that we did here, the last hackathon we had. Oh, if you click on Wiki, and then click on Hidden Face of Venus on the side. Right up there in the third to bottom challenge, yep. And that has, there's like a photo from the Magellan News Conference, a single frame of the video that they had shown from their processing. But all the details here. So if anybody's interested in making Venus real in OpenSpace, we have it. Thank you.
All right.
Come in one more.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a random question. Looking at the, I'm going back to Saturn's rings again. Just to see how the data needs to be formatted, I'm looking at your, like the armor asteroid.asset file. Where is that CSV hidden that it's referencing? Because the data from the particles in Saturn are in a data format. I think it's the same. Just curious.
Interesting. Okay. How those are located. That's. Jesus Christ! I'm gonna throw this laptop away. That was in Scene, Solar System, SSSB, and then you said Armor.
So it's calling on SSC data or a CSV down
Yes.
here.
So that that guy is part of our data distribution. So we built a whole content delivery network that basically when you start OpenSpace with a profile that you haven't started before, it shows you the download percentages.
Gotcha.
That's what happening here.
We should talk. I think we can make this happen really easily.
Let me just quickly show because it's super easy. So you see that it's a SSSB variable up here that gets set up here with an identifier and a version. So what I can do is copy, and then if I go to data.openspaceproject.com/request question mark identifier, that one, file version equals 4. That returns back the actual URL where the CSV file is located, which in this case is our server back home. Which at this point...
But I should add, that file is also existing on your computer in the OpenSpace folder in your sync folder.
Yes, so it gets automatically downloaded into your sync HTTP, that name of the identifier that we just looked at, and then with the folder of the version, and that's where the file is located. And then in this case, it's a CSV that we now put in Excel.
Okay, I think this can happen.
Yeah, the one we don't really announce it, but it's this one: the data.openspaceproject.com/request identifier, whatever identifier you want, regardless of which asset you're looking at, and then file version for it, or file version whatever it says in the asset file.
Awesome. Well, if there's no more questions related to content or the hub, congratulations. We are moving on to our final session in the classrooms.
Woo!